The solar system feels like a quiet place drifting through the vast darkness of space. Planets orbit calmly around the sun, distant stars fill the sky, and the structure of the Milky Way stretches across the night as a soft glowing band. But our region of the galaxy is far stranger than it appears. The solar system is not simply floating through ordinary interstellar space, it is traveling inside a gigantic cavity carved into the galaxy by ancient stellar explosions. This enormous structure is called the local bubble. It is a vast region of extremely hot, very thin gas stretching roughly 1,000 light-years across. Compared with normal parts of the galaxy, it is almost empty. The density of matter here is dramatically lower than in typical interstellar clouds. In other words, our entire solar system is moving through a gigantic bubble in space, and that bubble has a violent history. The aftermath of ancient explosions. The local bubble did not form quietly. Billions of years after the galaxy formed, massive stars began to appear in this region of space. These stars lived fast and short lives, burning through their nuclear fuel far more quickly than smaller stars. When such stars reach the end of their lives, they explode as supernovae. Each supernova releases an enormous shockwave that pushes surrounding gas outward at tremendous speeds. When multiple supernovae occur in the same region over millions of years, their shockwaves combine and sweep huge volumes of interstellar gas away. Astronomers believe that the local bubble was carved out by a chain of roughly 15 to 20 supernova explosions that occurred during the past few million years. Each explosion expanded outward like a cosmic blast wave, gradually clearing a cavity inside the surrounding gas clouds. Over time, these shock waves overlapped and merged, leaving behind a gigantic hollow region filled with extremely hot plasma. That hollow region is the bubble we live in today. A bubble of extremely hot gas. Despite its name, the local bubble is not empty. Instead, it contains gas heated to temperatures of roughly 1,000,000 degrees. At first, that sounds impossible. A region with such extreme temperatures should glow brilliantly. Yet, the bubble remains almost invisible to ordinary telescopes. The reason is density. Although the gas inside the bubble is incredibly hot, it is also extraordinarily thin. Only a few atoms exist in each cubic centimeter of space, far less than in most interstellar clouds. Because the gas is so sparse, it emits very little visible light. Instead, it mostly produces faint X-ray radiation. From Earth, specialized space telescopes can detect this weak X-ray glow, revealing the enormous cavity surrounding our region of the galaxy. The solar system sits comfortably inside this hot, ghostly ocean of plasma. Traveling through the bubble. Imagine a spacecraft leaving the solar system and heading outward through the local bubble. At first, nothing unusual would seem to happen. Space would still appear dark and empty, filled with distant stars scattered across the sky. But the environment between those stars would be different from most places in the galaxy. Instead of dense clouds of cold hydrogen gas, the spacecraft would pass through extremely thin, hot plasma. The particles here move rapidly because of the high temperature, but there are so few of them that collisions are rare. The journey would feel like flying through a giant invisible cavity. The nearest dense gas clouds would lie hundreds of light years away along the edges of the bubble. Those edges form enormous walls where the expanding shock waves from ancient supernovae piled interstellar material together. The bubble's expanding walls. As the spacecraft continues traveling outward, eventually the boundary of the local bubble would appear. This boundary is not a sharp wall like the surface of a planet. Instead, it is a vast region where density gradually increases. Cold interstellar gas and dust accumulate here after being pushed outward by ancient supernova shockwaves. Many of the nearby star-forming regions in our part of the galaxy are located along these compressed edges. The pressure from expanding bubbles can trigger the collapse of gas clouds, helping new stars form. One of these nearby stellar nurseries is associated with the Orion Nebula. In this way, the death of massive stars may have helped create the conditions that allowed new stars to be born nearby. The galaxy constantly recycles itself through this process. Our journey through the bubble. The solar system itself is not stationary inside this structure. As the Sun orbits the center of the Milky Way, it travels through different regions of interstellar space. Right now, the solar system sits inside a smaller region known as the local interstellar cloud, a slightly denser patch of gas drifting within the larger bubble. This cloud is only a few dozen light-years across, meaning that the solar system entered it relatively recently on cosmic timescales. Eventually, in tens of thousands of years, the solar system will likely exit this small cloud and move into another region of the bubble. These subtle changes in interstellar environment may influence cosmic radiation to reaching the solar system, though the effects on Earth are still debated. The bubble network of the galaxy. The local bubble is not unique. Astronomers have discovered that the Milky Way contains many similar cavities formed by clusters of supernova explosions. These bubbles often connect and overlap, creating enormous networks of hot gas inside the galactic disk. In some regions, massive star clusters carve gigantic superbubbles hundreds or even thousands of light-years across. These superbubbles can eventually burst through the galactic disk and release hot gas into the halo surrounding the galaxy. In that sense, the Milky Way behaves like a living system constantly reshaped by stellar explosions. Stars form, burn brightly, explode, and their shockwaves sculpt the structure of the galaxy. Our own local bubble is just one piece of that enormous cosmic pattern. A quiet place in a violent galaxy. Although the local bubble was born from violent explosions, today it is a relatively calm region of space. The supernovae that created it happened millions of years ago. Their shockwaves have long since faded into the surrounding interstellar medium. What remains is a gigantic cavity slowly drifting through the galaxy, along with the stars embedded inside it. The solar system has been traveling through this bubble for millions of years, quietly orbiting the center of the galaxy, while the surrounding plasma glows faintly in X-rays. To the human eye, the sky still looks peaceful and unchanged. But hidden behind that calm view is the evidence of ancient stellar catastrophes that reshaped our entire neighborhood in the Milky Way. Our cosmic home sits inside the ghostly remains of long-dead stars.